your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
And welcome to the Consumer Quarterback Show, always helping you win in any marketplace. And we got a great lineup for you today. Captain Will Smith in studio today. We're going to talk about these chemtrails, contrails, whatever they call them, coming out of the back of these jets up in the higher altitudes. Michael Johnson as well, Dennison Yachting in studio with us. We're going to talk about ways to get on the water fast. What if you're selling your yacht? Some of the strategies there, and also some business and sales. We're going to touch base on that. And before we do, we always like to feature our listings, but we also have a special prize going on, a contest right now, Raise tickets. We're giving away 2 VIP Raise tickets, compliments of Mike Murphy with Murphy Auto Group. He had offered those up, and it's on our social media right now. So it's all over our social medias, at Brandon Rhymes 1, at CQB Show. And also Brandon Rhymes PA, so you can find it there. Murphy Auto Group. All you got to do is like it and share it, and you're entered to win 2 VIP Raise tickets. That's the drinks that comes with food and drinks and beverage, and you're up in the box, and you also have a parking pass that he's thrown in. So check us out on social media. Follow us. We'd love to connect with you online. All right, a couple of hot listings here. We got a new one at Marjorie Avenue in Tampa. This one's 11332 Marjorie Avenue in Tampa. Beautiful estate-style home, $799,000 list price. This is a gorgeous property, well-maintained. Owner pride shines through in this 4-bedroom, 2-bath home on Marjorie Avenue. Meticulously landscaped yard. Pavers galore. Pavers all the way around. You got a gate that's going to allow your guest in and out. Beautiful kitchen as well. Great, awesome size kitchen here. Granite countertops, wood cabinetry, tile flooring, stainless steel appliances. Beautiful property at Marjorie Avenue in Tampa. And we got another one here in Berger Road in Lutz, Florida. We got a mansion for sale. This is a beautiful home, 10,000 square foot mansion in Lutz, Florida, Berger Road in Lutz. This is a gorgeous home, 10,000 square feet, 10 bedrooms, 12 bathrooms. You have no HOA. You got an indoor pool with a full bar and an oversized deck, full tennis court, library, movie theater, sauna, 2 master suites, a grand balcony, and more at 3704 Berger Road in Lutz. And you can see all of our listings at PlatinumCoastalElite.com. I want to do a quick shout out for our friend Ramin Kazami over at Heights Soft Wash, pressure washing company here in Tampa Bay, for all your real estate pressure washing that you need, commercial, residential properties, driveways, fences. Check them out online, heightssoftwash.com. Let them know the real estate quarterback sent you, heightssoftwash.com. All right, Michael Johnson back in studio, Dennison Yachts. Welcome back, sir.
How are you doing? Welcome.
Excellent.
Thank you again for always having me in, talking yachts.
My pleasure, man.
More.
I love last show, too, man. You had, what was it, 10 tips to get on the water fast. I mean, that was a pretty cool episode. All of our content's on YouTube, by the way, so if you want to go back and check that out.
Yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, I want to kind of move into that, too, and how we can expand on getting people on the water quick.
Yeah.
And it's got a little bit of course, how do you get on the water fast is always the big topic, especially if you're moving to Florida. And we actually do find a lot of people that are from Florida, and they're like, you know what, I've been on the water all these years, and I think it's about time I try to go out and explore a little bit. So,
enjoy it.
So,
it's a great place to be, Tampa Bay. Live, work, and play here in Tampa Bay, and you're not on the water, man. You're missing it.
Oh, it is. And the West Coast, everybody loves it, talks about the East Coast, going out of Miami, and we were just talking about Bimini and all the great places you go. But I'll tell you, there's some outstanding little areas you can get into for the channels and intercoastal here on the West Coast. There's just a lot to explore. So it's just something you should probably look at if you haven't gotten into it just yet. So we'll talk about how we can get on the water fast, and we'll continue into that. And I think this is pertaining to those that are looking at buying actual boats. And we have a lot of customers that come in and go, hey, you know what, I'm looking at buying a boat. It's the first time I'm doing this. I've maybe done jet skis, or I've done some small fishing when I was a kid. That's great, but we want to kind of give you some guidance on how to get started, because it's a little bit more complicated than it looks. So have you ever, have you heard about the 10-foot-itis? You know what 10-foot-itis is?
No.
No, okay. So 10-foot-itis is the whole where, I buy a boat, let's say it's a 20-footer, and after about a year or so, you're like, this guy's got a 30-footer. I kind of want to go to that size.
There you go.
So it's 10-foot-itis. But technically where that comes from, if you kind of look at it, is kind of dictated by the insurance companies. That's why I kind of want to get into this, is that where do I get started? Because if you want to come just right into Florida, you never boated before, and you have this, wow, I want to go in big, I want a 60, 70-footer. technically, unless you've got a captain you're going to hire and pay, you won't be able to do it yourself because the insurance companies are going to turn you down. So, this goes into the home industry, right? We're seeing what's going on with insurance rates.
Right.
Yachting, seeing the same thing, how they look at it, hurricanes. I think this is something that really needs to be dictated first as a buyer. If you're coming into the market, you need to look at this. So the best solution is to start between 20 to 30 feet. And there's a lot of reasons. You can easily get on the water quick with a 20, 30 footer, do an outboard, especially here in Tampa. You can get out, hit a lot of the different areas, understand how to use the boat, why you want to use the boat, and so forth. And then it gets you enough experience so then you can go into, you know what, I really like this and I want to start going farther.
Right.
Which is a 30, 40 footer. I want to go down to the Keys for a weekend. That's when you get into cabins and all that.
Yeah.
That's the best way to go because then now you're ready for it. The insurance companies are going to probably end up, approving you and binding you quicker without a lot of question marks because you got a little bit of history. So,
and I imagine your resale is going to be easier on a 20 to 30 footer as well.
Yeah, the market's bigger. It depends on what you buy, unless you're one of those that want to, what we call the gold grill of like 5 outboards on the back, 500 Mercuries, where, the thing goes so fast, but you can't afford them because the engines alone are like $1 million. Yeah, which I don't want to put anybody down for doing that. Those are still a great segment. But, typically there's a lot more people buying boats that are center consoles that are like twins on the back, and it's a good 20, 30 foot, mark. So, yeah.
So, I like it. We're talking with Michael Johnson here, Dennison Yachting, on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Get on the water fast. Smart ways to get on the water and quick ways to get on the water. It just reminded me, too, of this maybe I got to get the clip for the show. I like to play these little sound clips. But, Chris Jansen, money can't buy everything, but it can buy a boat. Have you heard that song? A little funny country song. And yeah, it's I like those little catchy theme songs. But so what else you seeing out there, Michael?
No, so that's kind of gets into that. If you're going to buy a boat, the biggest advice I can give to you is just get it pre-approved. Call the insurance companies, talk to them, see what you need, and get pre-approved if you're going to do financing. It's kind of like a home. You're better off getting pre-approvals before you kind of go to market. So that's the biggest. That's especially if you're going to try to get on the water immediately. But 20 to 30 foot range is probably the best way to start. But I want to kind of get into, if you're a boat owner currently, we kind of talked about some segments about, selling your yachts fast. Last time we talked about, the benefits of bringing in brokers, the same thing as like real estate agents.
Right.
We run in the same capacity, reaches and things like that. But we want to kind of dig in a little bit further. If you're looking at selling your vessel, you just bought a vessel and you're like, all right, I'm going to probably keep this thing for about 2 years, 3 years is my plan. Some advice for you, because we want to prepare you to get in the future to sell that sucker fast. The goal is to sell when you put the boat, get out of it. How do we get out of it quick? So we want to talk about becoming an airline pilot, basically. These guys are great. So we have seen in the yachting industry these individuals that are like engineers in flight. The flight logs they do, they're pilots. They are very meticulous on how they track everything, let alone operation. Every time I get on we'll probably talk about this afterwards, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I get on a plane, I got a checklist of things I'm going to do. Boat ownership is the same way. I'm going to get on, I'm going to do my valves and seacocks. I'm going to check my filters. It runs in the same capacity, but then tracking it. So we have actually, for your viewers, if they want to reach out to me, I'll give my, again, the email, mjohnson@DennisonYachting.com. We're going to put together a nice little Excel spreadsheet starter for if you own a boat, get into being very, very detailed about your maintenance and what you do. Buyers love it. It is a big plus going to market. So that's a big thing I want to kind of say is become an airplane pilot, become that engineer and start tracking. It sells it faster, looks better, it's more forthcoming.
Right.
It'll help you big time and get really good value for
I
your
love
boat.
that. Yeah, it's almost like doing due diligence on a property. When you have, like, sometimes when I sell vacant land, I sell real estate, commercial, vacant land, residential, of course. And when I have this seller that says, hey, we've already done a feasibility report, we know what can be built on this acreage. Let's say it's waterfront acreage. We know what the setbacks are from the water lines, so it's important when for a buyer to know what they're buying. Right.
Yeah.
So, hey, this is zoned for X. We can put 23 single-family homes or 48 townhomes on this land. Right. So that feasibility report. So in essence, it's very similar to what you're saying. And also tracking, because you got mechanisms here, you got moving parts. So you're tracking that, and you're saying to the buyer, hey, here's what we know about it.
Yeah, the expectations. Would you say?
Expectations.
Yeah. Because I think real estate runs the same way. It's all about what am I getting into.
Yep.
If you're buying a home and you don't know what the furnace is going to do in the next month,
Yep.
You're not setting up expectations, and then it breaks down. Who do they blame?
Right.
and unfortunately, they go after the surveyors or the inspections, but they also blame the agents and the brokers.
Yep.
So I think it's a combined effort both from between an individual selling something and the broker trying to assist them. I think it's just in buyers coming in. It's all about trustworthiness. It's building a very good credibility that I stand apart already. I'm ready to go. I'm going to tell you what you get into. I want you to have a great experience. Buying boats, again, it's a want, right?
Yep.
And what you're buying is an experience. I want to go out. I want to go out with my family. I want to go to the beaches. I don't want to worry about my engines breaking down.
Yep.
In a month. So these start to build that trustworthiness where it brings out better buyers and you're more inclined to sell things for a better price.
I like that. Yeah, we're talking with Dennison Yachting sales rep and representative Michael Johnson here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. And days on market, it's big in real estate too. We always talk about days on market are the enemy to a home's value or even a commercial property's value, right? I imagine it's a similar game in the yacht industry.
It is. And there's question marks that come up with if that thing's been on the market for 5-6 months. Why?
Right, exactly.
But it runs the same thing, I think, with real estate. Sometimes they get into contracts and they go through the process and, it goes through an inspection, but it might be little stuff, but maybe, a buyer might feel, well, there's a lot on here.
Yeah.
So this is like a death by 1,000 cuts. But
yep.
when you kind of look a step back and go, well, that's kind of just boating. I don't know how you look at real estate.
Sure.
Us per foot is a problem. I don't know if you've heard this before. So
dollar per square foot or dollar per foot. Yep.
Yeah, so you got a problem for every foot. We kind of play the same thing in yachting. It could be a rusted, you got a 60-footer, 60 rusted screws, but you kind of look at it the same way. You're going to always have something. It's just how you stay on top of it.
Right.
And,
yeah.
So
I like that. And being forthright and having that feasibility report, so to speak, that feasibility report is a big thing. I like that. When we get back, we're going to jump into a little bit also of the business and sales side of this as well. And I've got a clip I'm going to play about what we call exchange database. So if you're a real estate agent out there, insurance, title, mortgage, any type of business, we got some business tips coming up for you here on the other side of this break. Later on, we have Captain Will Smith also in studio. Will Smith Aviation. Talk about his books as well. More with Michael Johnson on the flip side of this break. Hey, follow us online. We'd love to connect with you. And also we have that raised ticket giveaway happening on our social media site, CQB Show, Brandon Rhymes 1. We'll be right back. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
All right, Brandon Rhymes here in studio with Michael Johnson, Dennison Yachting. We got some business tips coming up here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Before we do, a couple of hot listings. We always like to feature our listings on air, and it's a way that we help our sellers sell faster for more money. If you're thinking about selling, we'd love to talk to you, 727-263-3707. Introductions to any of our expert contributors, reach out, 727-263-3707, online at consumerqb.com. All right, we got a property at 605 Monterey Avenue in Clearwater. This is one of my favorite listings right now. It's just a beautiful home. You have a nice floor plan, private pool, screened-in pool, granite countertops, gorgeous kitchen. It's got a nice floor plan to it. 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, 2163 square feet, non-flood zone. Beautiful home on Monterey Avenue in Clearwater, Florida. We also have one on Lake Palermo Road, 3413 Lake Palermo Road in Waimama. This is in Hillsborough County. Great opportunity to own real estate here in Hillsborough County. 3734 square feet, 5 bedrooms, 3.5 bath, Mediterranean-style home. It's in a gated community. You got an open concept kitchen, wraparound patio with a private pool, hot tub, and an outdoor kitchen. Just a beautiful estate-style home here in Hillsborough County, Lake Palermo Road in Waimama. And you can see all of our listings, PlatinumCoastalElite.com. That's PlatinumCoastalElite.com.
This is God's country.
And quick shout out to the Bilmar Beach Resort, the official hotel partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Had a good time down there last weekend over at the Bilmar Beach Resort. Great opportunity to have that local staycation, or maybe if you're out of state, of course, come down and have a vacation. But a beautiful property. Check them out online, BilmarBeachResort.com. Let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. Okay, Michael Johnson's in the house, Dennison Yachting, and we like to get into some of these other ideas around business, and you had some ideas around sales as well.
Yeah, I think it would be good to talk about customer care and things that are drive sales to try to help out individuals, especially if they're looking at getting into real estate. If there might be some individuals getting into financial or whatever your business is that might pertain to customer service and things like that.
Right.
I think there's a really good understanding of how to create. We talked about earlier about expectations. How do you set expectations? How do you build trust? And that's a big part of sales. And there's a little bit of lacking, I think, that these days on, overall, how do we treat customers just right, setting expectations, doing the right thing, and giving them what they want. And that is the biggest thing I want to focus on today, because we see it quite a bit. And I think we hear this from customers. They call quite a bit and they go, you know what, I was calling on this. And I was in real estate too. You kind of had that too. They would call and go, look, I'm looking at this house. I want to see it. But before you know it, the conversation leads to, well, I have this other house that I have listed instead of seeing this one.
Yep.
So there's this push marketing tactic, I think, in sales that needs to be derivative in the beginning. You set the base with the customer to go, look, I'm going to first, no matter what you're calling about, I'm going to give you what you want.
Yeah.
I'm calling to see this house, or I'm going to see this boat. Boom, I'm going to get you on it as fast as possible. That's what you want. That's the initial satisfaction. Once the direction changes on a customer, I think what ends up happening is that you start to lose credibility, because then you become what's called push marketing effort, which is, I'm going to step on the car lot and I'm going to sell you the first car you're standing next to on the lot, and as close to the sidewalk as you just walked onto. So I think it's one of those marketing tactics, like retail. You walk into a store. What do you want? Oh, I want these shoes. Okay, great. And you're going to push them into that one shoe.
Yeah.
That's more of a push marketing. Pull marketing is real estate. Pull marketing is the boat industry. It is bringing people in based on trust. Mm-hmm. Do you know what? It's not always about what you know about. It's not always about the lingo. It's about, what are you going to do to give me what I really want? And these are the things I want to get satisfied. I want this type of house in this area with this many bedrooms. I want this type of boat with this many cabins that I could do with my family, and this is what I want to do with it. Finding and listening to people starts to build that initial credibility, and that changes the whole sales game, because then when you have credibility, they will always come to you first, and that's the objective.
Yeah, I love it. It's a needs and wants analysis, kind of outlining, hey, here's our customer experience, here's what the expectations are. I love that. And then here's something else you can do. Once you have a database, this is really big in real estate, and I actually have a clip here from a real estate coach that I listened to.
Number 3 is the exchange database. Now, my number one question that I always get is, Taylor, what's an exchange database? Our rule of thumb is, and Jeff uses this example, if you met them at a bar, or if you saw them at a bar and they were standing next to you, would you buy them a drink? If the answer is yes, then they're in your exchange database. My explanation of it.
So you go into this whole idea of previous clients. In the beginning part of the first part of my career, I just almost ignored completely previous clients, people that have bought or sold with me. A lot of salespeople make that mistake. They don't follow up. They don't offer value. They don't put them on a drip campaign that's going to add value to them. Yep. With market stats or whatever it might be, invites to their different business mixers or parties that we host. So I think that's the key that a lot of people miss. They miss that follow-up database. They
do, and everybody has a little bit of a different saying for it, right? Jelly beans, or a follow-up, or a tickler, or a touch, whatever you want to call it. It is. You're kind of. I think you're dead on. That's brilliant. I mean, it is really about, how do I drive value to my customers, not just call them and go, yeah, how you doing this week? And so we doing the listing?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's hard. You get into that, I think, mode of where you want to, now you're in follow-ups. How do I create more value? Mm-hmm. But it comes into just setting up somewhat of a format where you know about their family. You know about their dogs. Maybe you know about where they live and what they want to do in the future, and about their wives or their husbands, and knowing all of that sets a goal of, I have a ton of stuff I could talk about, and when I follow up with you, it's not just about the house or just about the boat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we call it Ford, so kind of like not a Chevy, but a Ford, right? Ford. So family. How's the family doing? Occupation, how's business? Is there anything I can help with? R stands for recreation. How you've been fishing lately? You've been, out on the boat lately. Yep. And then D. Some people call it different things. I say deal. Ask for a deal, right? Hey, I have a goal. Another script we use is I have a goal script. It's like, hey, Michael, I have a goal this year of selling 50 homes, or helping 50 families buy or sell, invest in real estate. Who do you happen to know that might be at church, maybe at your kids' soccer games, one of your organizations you're involved with, right? So I have a goal script is a good one.
Yeah, that's really, and nobody ever asks for referrals, especially when you've done an unbelievable job and everybody wants to talk about you.
Right, exactly.
It's because you do something wrong, they'll tell like thousands of people, right?
Yeah, exactly.
If you do something great, they only tell 10, but you got to remind them to tell the 10. So you're right. It's just about follow up for the right reasons, but utilize a pull marketing technique where you pull them in with trust, you pull them in with value, and you always put people first. It's not
right.
Homes are, there's a difference of like, I'll use the word home or I'll use the word house. I get it. That's a sales strategy or a certain verbiage gives you a certain feeling of what I'm getting. In the end, it is about expectations and it is about what I really want. So give them what they want, which is the experience. And why I want this is my experience I'm going to get from it. And if you focus on experiences and forget about the tool that gets it, the boat's the tool, the house is the tool. All those are tools that get them what they want, which is I want my family to be together. That's a house. I want my family to be together. That's a yacht. That's really what they're doing is the experiences. And if you're really good at selling that, that's where you're going to go. And that's where you're going to win.
I love it. And we have just about 45 seconds here, but you got a 2006 Leopard 43-foot sail catamaran with a slip in St. Pete. That's $290K.
We do, yeah. So we've real quick, if you're looking for boats, I've got a 2006 Leopard. It is in absolute condition. If you're looking at family couples, you want to try to start exploring the waterways and get even all the way down to the Caribbean. We've got something for you. It's a great vessel. You can start showing it immediately if you want to get on it. Great price, great value. Those are some things we have for sale on the market.
Nice.
And we talked about before, if you're looking at getting into boating and you haven't before, we have an ultimate buyer's guide, step by step, how to get into boating, how to buy it, what to expect, everything all laid out. We give you the guidance through that, but at least kind of gives you, what you're getting into. So that's for all your listeners. If they email me at mjohnson@dennisonyachting.com, we could get that guide out to them, gives them a good starting point.
mjohnson@dennisonyachting.com. Good stuff. Hey, thanks for coming in.
It's always a pleasure.
Excellent. And great stuff there from Michael. If you want to get on the water, he's got some good tips here. Check him out on that buyer's guide. Coming up, Captain Will Smith as well. Will Smith Aviation going to be here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Raise tickets giveaway on our social media at CQB Show, at Brandon Rhymes 1 and Brandon Rhymes PA as well. And we'll be right back here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, everybody, it's the Captain, Matt Bruce, and you're listening to my buddy, Brandon Rhymes, a Consumer Quarterback. Sell, Brandon, sell.